everyone. I'm here to do my creative year, and this week's prompt is repair, and the topic for this month is salvage. So I'm going to go along with the topic of salvage wrap versus repair, although you can see this is kind of in disrepair. It's an old cigar box that somebody had given me a while, gosh, back in my teaching days, and I had stored some crayons in here, and you can see it's all marked up with crayon marks. But I'm going to salvage this. I'm going to repair it and salvage it, and I like this piece here. I'm going to take this off because I'm going to cover this up at some point. So I'm going to cover up the box and the inside of the box as well. And I am going to use these dominoes that I have that have been laying around for a long time, and I'm going to turn these into legs. I'm going to use these as legs for my cigar box. All right, and then I have one of these, what they call slide binders. They used to protect slides, and then you could put them into your projector. Okay. So, but I'm going to use this as a frame for something, all right? So, without further ado, I'm going to get started, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the covering of the box off camera, because to me I find it really boring watching somebody cut paper and fit it to the box and glue it on and all that jazz. I'm going to use some matte medium or possibly some heavy gel medium, depending on how well the paper will stick. And then I will come back for the finishing touches, and then you'll see the completed box as well. So thanks again for watching, and don't forget to check out the Facebook group, My Creative Year, and I'll post a link down at the bottom in the description box below. And without further ado, I'm going to turn off my camera, do this off camera, and then I'll be back with the miracle of the camera. It'll be a split second. All right, excuse the mess, creative mess. Okay, so I went ahead and used scrapbooking paper to cover the inside as well as the outside edges. I left the bottom because no one looks at the bottom. And I used on the corners washi tape. And now I'm going to add finishing touches to this, and I hope that you enjoy my process. And this is going to be, I currently have vintage postage stamps in this tin that I got at a antique shop. I love the tin, but as you can see, it's kind of overflowing now, so I kind of need a bigger container. So that's what I'm going to use this for. And earlier on, I tore this off the cigar box, and I like it and I want to keep it. So I've taken my slide binders, what it's called, and I went ahead, it had some old paint on it, so I went out into my garage and I had a sanding block, so I sanded that down, and it still has little scratches from the sanding, but I'm not worried about it, okay, because I kind of like that look. And another thing is, another tip when you're, this type of work is called decoupage, which means basically coller means to glue, and decoupage means to cut out of something, all right? So that's where decoupage came from. And so when you're decoupaging things on, sometimes you might get streaks from your paintbrush, and if you don't like that, I recommend, like here, I don't know, my camera's not picking up the streaks, but it's a little bit streaky back here, and it doesn't bother me because this is just going to be a storage container. If I was giving this away as a gift, I would probably take some very fine sandpaper and sand a little bit of the finish off, and then put another layer on, and that tends to smooth out those streaks. So there's a tip for you when you're gluing papers down and you're not quite sure. And another tip is an old credit card. The way to get out all the bubbles in your, try not to put too much medium down glue or whatever you're using to glue down your scrapbooking paper. Make sure that you don't use too much because you can always go back and add more. And a way to get rid of the excess as well as the air bubbles is by taking your credit card or gift card and running it across the top very gently. Don't push too hard because sometimes if it is a thin scrapbooking paper, it could tear, okay? So that's my word of advice. So I'm gonna first off I want to create this kind of like a, I don't know, sort of like a frame for this. And I'm going to glue it down here when I'm done. But first I need to glue this onto the back of some Bristol paper. I kind of just eyeballed it. I didn't quite glue it down real good, but it'll work. So I'm going to use some Anneliese tacky glue to glue this down. And then again, you can use your credit card to smooth out the air bubbles and the glue, because Anneliese tacky glue tends to glue thick. So whatever streaks, whatever parts you put down, it kind of just stays that way. And I just kind of got this too crooked. There we go. So let's see if this is going to work where I want it. Yep, it's gonna work. So now I'm just gonna put some bits of glue on the inside, just a streak of glue right here so that it glues down better. So there you have it. You got like a nice little frame. And then I think I'm going to glue it to the middle of the top of the box. Right about there, I think. And I'm going to wipe off the excess glue in a minute. Just want to get enough glue down so this will adhere. Kind of just eyeballing where I'm going to put this. It's a little off center, but I'm not too worried about it. So I'm probably going to add some more things to the top anyhow. It's not quite straight. Yeah, it's a little better. All right. Alright, so I made these out of soda pop cans, and if you look up on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to find it. It's how to cut out, or using your Sizzix Big Shot, how to cut out tin cans and create shapes and things out of metal. And so yeah, so anyhow, I think I'm going to glue this down here. I like it there. And then I embossed it. I cut these out, and then using my Sizzix die cut machine, and then before I did that, I actually embossed the metal first, and then I cut it out, I believe, is how I did it. And you could paint it, you know, different color or whatever, but I just choose to keep it the metal color. I like it. So I've done all of this. Okay, so I've done the top, the bottom, the sides I'm leaving plain, and the back, okay? And so the next step will be is to take these dominoes. I'm going to stack 4 up high like this, okay? I'm going to glue them, and they're going to become legs. So I'm going to do this off camera, and I'll be back in a few. All right, so they're glued together. They're not quite dry, but I stacked them up. And now I'm going to glue them down in each kind of corner of this cigar box. All right, so there you have it. Here's the front, here's the top, the sides, the back, and the inside of the box.